Have you ever noticed that the loudest voices often attract the most trouble? In a world that constantly urges us to share, overshare, and broadcast every detail of our lives, the ancient wisdom of Stoic philosophy offers a striking contrast: the power of silence. In today's hyperconnected era, where social media rewards overexposure and instant validation, the idea of keeping things to ourselves may seem outdated. But in truth, restraint, choosing what to say, when to say it, and most importantly, what to keep private, is a practice that can transform your life. There is an undeniable strength in discretion. The less you reveal, the more control you maintain over your own narrative. The allure of oversharing. Why do we feel compelled to share everything? It's human nature to seek connection. We want to be seen, heard, and understood. We crave recognition for our successes and sympathy for our struggles. Social media amplifies this tendency, offering instant gratification every time we post about our personal lives. A like, a comment, a share, it all fuels the illusion that the more we reveal, the more we matter. But what if this constant sharing is actually working against us? Imagine telling someone about an exciting new business idea. At first, they seem interested, even supportive. But as days pass, their attitude shifts. Maybe they start offering unsolicited advice that plants seeds of doubt in your mind. Maybe they subtly discourage you, not because they want to help, but because your ambition makes them uncomfortable. Or worse, they steal your idea. Suddenly, something that once felt personal and powerful now feels fragile, diluted by external opinions and unnecessary scrutiny. The Stoics understood this danger well. Epictetus, one of the great Stoic philosophers, taught that we should focus only on what we can control. When we share too much, we surrender part of that control to others, allowing their judgments, biases, and reactions to influence our inner world. The hidden strength in silence. True power lies not in speaking, but in knowing when not to speak. Silence is not just the absence of words, it's a statement of confidence, self-control, and wisdom. When you choose to keep certain things private, you maintain an inner fortress, a sanctuary where your thoughts and ambitions remain untouched by external forces. Think of the most influential people in history, those who commanded respect not by speaking endlessly, but by choosing their words carefully. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher king, kept a private journal of his thoughts rather than broadcasting them for approval. He understood that true wisdom is cultivated in solitude, not in public display. When you keep your plans, goals, and struggles to yourself, you protect them. You allow them to grow organically, free from the weight of expectation and the noise of outside opinions. What you should never share. The Stoics believed that certain aspects of life should remain guarded, known only to those who have earned our trust. Here are 5 key areas where discretion is essential. 1. Your deepest goals and plans. When you share your ambitions too soon, you expose them to doubt, criticism, and even sabotage. Keep them close until they are fully realized. 2. Your personal struggles. Not everyone has your best interests at heart. Some will use your vulnerabilities against you. Learn to process pain privately or with those who genuinely support you. 3. Your financial situation. Whether you're struggling or thriving, money attracts unnecessary attention. Oversharing about finances can breed jealousy, resentment, or opportunism. 4. Your love life. Relationships thrive on intimacy, not public validation. Keeping your personal life private helps maintain a sense of sacredness and authenticity. 5. Your acts of kindness. True generosity doesn't seek applause. When you help others, let it be a reflection of your character, not a performance for approval. How to cultivate the power of silence. Embracing discretion doesn't mean becoming secretive or isolated. It simply means being intentional with your words and recognizing the value of privacy. Here's how you can start applying this principle in daily life. Pause before speaking. Before sharing something personal, ask yourself, does this need to be said? Does this need to be said now? Does this need to be said by me? If the answer is no, stay silent. Find strength in solitude. Spend time alone with your thoughts. Journal your ideas rather than announcing them. Let your actions speak louder than your words. Choose your confidants wisely. Not everyone deserves access to your innermost world. Share only with those who have proven their loyalty and wisdom. Detach from external validation. The need for approval is a trap. The more you seek it, the less control you have over your own sense of worth. Learn to find fulfillment within. Practice active listening. When you listen more than you speak, you gain insight, build stronger relationships, and cultivate deeper self-awareness. The freedom of keeping things to yourself. Silence is not emptiness. It is full of meaning, intention, and strength. In a world that constantly demands we overshare, choosing discretion is an act of rebellion, and an act of wisdom. It grants you freedom from unnecessary drama, control over your own narrative, and an inner peace that cannot be shaken by outside forces. The next time you feel the urge to reveal something personal, pause. Ask yourself, will sharing this truly benefit me? Or am I just seeking validation? By embracing the power of silence, you step into a life of greater clarity, confidence, and self-mastery. The Stoics knew it. Now, it's time for us to rediscover it. A personal encounter with oversharing. There's an undeniable thrill in sharing something you're passionate about. That moment when an idea ignites within you, when inspiration flows effortlessly, and you can't wait to tell someone. It feels exhilarating, almost necessary. But as I've learned, sometimes the simple act of sharing can be the very thing that diminishes the fire. I learned this the hard way. A few years ago, I had a business idea that felt revolutionary. It wasn't just an idea, it was a vision, something I truly believed in. Excited and eager, I shared it with a group of acquaintances, hoping for encouragement, maybe even constructive feedback. At first, their responses seemed positive. They nodded in agreement, offered words of support, and even expressed admiration. I left the conversation feeling validated, even more motivated than before. But as days passed, something shifted. The same people who had initially seemed excited now responded with hesitation. Some gave me unsolicited advice that subtly undermined my confidence. Others questioned whether I had the necessary skills or resources to succeed. A few even brought up their own ideas, almost as if to compete. At first, I tried to brush it off. But slowly, doubt crept in. I found myself second-guessing my decisions, overanalyzing their words, wondering if I had been too ambitious. The passion I once had for my project began to wane, buried under a weight I hadn't anticipated, the weight of others' opinions. What I experienced is something the Stoics warned about centuries ago. Why oversharing can be dangerous. The Stoic philosophers, Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, Epictetus, believed in the power of self-mastery. To them, control over one's emotions, thoughts, and actions was the key to living a fulfilled life. One of their core teachings was to be mindful of what we share and with whom. Oversharing is not just about revealing personal secrets, it's about giving others access to your inner world before they've proven themselves worthy of that privilege. When we share our ideas, goals, or struggles too soon, we invite unnecessary influence. Every word of advice, every raised eyebrow, every comment, whether well-intentioned or not, becomes a seed planted in our minds. Some of these seeds grow into doubt, fear, or hesitation, weakening the very dreams we were once so sure about. The energy drain of seeking validation. Often, we share because we want validation. We want others to tell us we're on the right path, that our ideas are good, that our struggles are justified. But here's the paradox: the more we seek external validation, the less we trust ourselves. I've seen this play out not just in my own life, but in the lives of so many around me. A friend once confided in me about a new creative project, a book she had been dreaming of writing for years. She finally mustered the courage to start, and in her excitement, she shared it with those around her. The responses were mixed. Some were encouraging, but others asked questions that shook her confidence. "Are you sure people will be interested? There are so many books out there already, what makes yours different? What if you fail?" She hadn't even finished the first chapter, and already, the weight of others' expectations made the project feel overwhelming. She stopped writing. Not because she lost the desire, but because she lost the certainty she once had. That's the cost of premature exposure. When we let too many voices into our sacred space, we allow them to shape our narrative before we've even had a chance to fully define it ourselves. The Stoic approach: guard your inner world. Stoicism teaches us that our minds are like fortified cities. Not everyone deserves entry. Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest Stoic thinkers, kept a personal journal where he wrote reflections that were meant only for himself. He didn't seek validation from others, he sought truth within. So how do we apply this in our modern world, where sharing has become second nature? Be selective with your audience. Not everyone deserves access to your goals, ideas, or struggles. Share only with those who have proven their loyalty, wisdom, and genuine support. Let your work speak for itself. Instead of announcing every move, take action quietly. Achieve first, share later. Detach from the need for approval. True confidence comes from within, not from the opinions of others. The more you validate yourself, the less you need external affirmation. Practice inner reflection. Before sharing something, ask yourself, am I sharing this because I need feedback, or because I need validation? If it's the latter, reconsider. The liberation of keeping things to yourself. After my experience with oversharing my business idea, I changed the way I approach personal and professional goals. Now, I keep my most important projects to myself until they are solid, until they are no longer fragile enough to be shaken by outside influence. I choose my confidence carefully, knowing that the wrong words from the wrong people can do more damage than silence ever could. And something amazing happened. Without the noise of external opinions, I was able to move forward with clarity and conviction. The fire I had for my idea returned, stronger than before. I realized that my belief in myself mattered more than the approval of others. This, I believe, is one of the greatest lessons Stoicism has to offer, the understanding that true power lies not in being heard, but in knowing when to remain silent. So the next time you feel the urge to share a dream, a goal, or even a personal struggle, pause. Ask yourself, do I really need to share this right now? Or is this something I should nurture privately? You might find that keeping certain things to yourself isn't just an act of discretion, it's an act of strength. Stoic insights on guarding personal matters. In a world that glorifies transparency, the idea of keeping personal matters private might seem outdated. Social media encourages us to share every milestone, every struggle, every fleeting thought. We're taught that openness fosters connection, that vulnerability is strength. But the Stoics offer a different perspective, one that emphasizes discretion as a means of protecting our inner peace. Think about the last time you shared something deeply personal. Perhaps it was a dream you were working toward, a relationship struggle, or even a hidden fear. How did it feel in that moment? Maybe there was relief, even a sense of validation. But what happened afterward? Did the opinions of others begin to weigh on you? Did you start questioning your own judgment? This is the hidden danger of oversharing. When we expose too much of ourselves, our plans, our emotions, our vulnerabilities, we give others an unearned influence over our inner world. And in doing so, we risk losing something even more valuable: control. The power of protecting your inner world. Stoic philosophy teaches us that the only true control we have is over our own thoughts, actions, and perceptions. Everything else, how people react to us, what they think, how they respond, is beyond our command. This is why Epictetus warned against letting external forces dictate our emotions. He believed that our greatest power lies in mastering ourselves, in safeguarding our minds from the chaos of the outside world. When we share too freely, we invite unnecessary interference. Imagine working on a goal that means everything to you. You've been making steady progress, but then you share it with someone who doesn't see your vision. Maybe they doubt you. Maybe they make an offhand remark that plants a seed of uncertainty. Suddenly, what once felt clear now feels complicated. Their skepticism becomes an echo in your mind, a voice whispering, "What if they're right?" You start hesitating. You second-guess yourself. The goal that once felt within reach now seems further away, not because anything changed, but because you allowed an outside perspective to shake your confidence. The illusion of control in sharing. We often share because we crave support, reassurance, or connection. But in doing so, we surrender a piece of our autonomy. We allow the judgments, biases, and expectations of others to shape our path. And the more voices we let in, the harder it becomes to distinguish our own. The Stoics understood this. They saw wisdom and restraint in guarding personal matters like a fortress. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, wrote extensively about the importance of keeping one's mind free from external noise. He reminded himself, and us, that the opinions of others are fleeting and should never be the foundation upon which we build our self-worth. Knowing when to share, and when to stay silent. Of course, this doesn't mean we should live in isolation. Human connection is vital. But the key is discernment. Not everyone deserves access to our most sacred thoughts. Some will misunderstand us. Others may use our vulnerabilities against us. Even well-meaning friends can, unintentionally, steer us off course. So how do we determine when to share and when to hold back? Ask yourself why you're sharing. Is it for validation? Reassurance? Or do you genuinely need guidance from someone you trust? Consider the person's intentions and wisdom. Are they capable of offering insight without judgment? Or will their words introduce doubt and confusion? Reflect on whether their input truly matters. Will their perspective help you grow? Or will it only serve to complicate your thinking? Building inner strength through discretion. There is a quiet power in keeping certain things to yourself. When you resist the urge to broadcast every struggle or ambition, you cultivate self-reliance. You learn to trust your own judgment instead of seeking permission from the world. Some of the greatest thinkers and leaders in history understood this principle. They moved in silence, revealing only what was necessary. They knew that not all battles should be fought in public, that some victories are best achieved in solitude. Consider the example of a warrior preparing for battle. He does not announce his strategy to the enemy. He does not reveal his weaknesses or his fears. He moves with intention, protecting his plans until the moment of execution. We should approach our lives the same way. By practicing discretion, we strengthen our resolve. We sharpen our focus. We gain the freedom to move forward without the weight of external expectations. The Stoics' Guide to Protecting Your Peace. If you want to live with greater clarity and inner strength, consider adopting these Stoic principles. 1. Treat your mind like a sanctuary. Only allow thoughts and influences that serve your highest purpose. 2. Limit unnecessary disclosure. Share wisely, and only with those who have earned your trust. 3. Detach from external validation. Your worth and decisions should not be dictated by the opinions of others. 4. Move in silence. Let your actions, not your words, speak for your ambitions. 5. Embrace solitude as a source of power. Learn to find strength in yourself, rather than in external reassurance. Applying Stoic principles in modern life. In an age where oversharing has become second nature, where every thought, every meal, and every milestone is documented for public consumption, practicing restraint can feel unnatural, almost radical. We live in a world that rewards visibility, where likes and comments act as a currency of validation. But what if true strength lies not in broadcasting our lives, but in holding parts of ourselves sacred? The Stoics, centuries before the rise of social media, understood a fundamental truth: not everything needs to be shared. Discretion is not about secrecy, it is about power over our emotions, our narratives, and ultimately, our peace of mind. But how do we apply these ancient principles in a world that thrives on exposure? How do we navigate modern life while maintaining the wisdom of restraint? 1. Resist the urge to share every detail. We've all felt it, the impulse to announce our achievements, vent our frustrations, or seek immediate validation. It's a natural human desire. After all, who doesn't want to be heard, understood, and acknowledged? But consider this: how often has sharing too soon, or too much, led to unintended consequences? Perhaps you've excitedly shared a goal, only to be met with skepticism that plants seeds of doubt in your mind. Maybe you've vented about a challenge at work, only to have it circle back and damage your reputation. Or perhaps, in moments of vulnerability, you've opened up to the wrong person and regretted it later. Marcus Aurelius, one of the great Stoic philosophers, advised, "Do not waste what remains of your life in speculating about others, unless it is related to some mutual benefit. Instead, use your time to improve yourself." What if we applied this wisdom to our words? Instead of impulsively sharing, pause. Ask yourself, why am I sharing this? Am I seeking validation or genuine connection? What could be the potential consequences? Sometimes, the best response is silence. Not out of fear, but out of wisdom. 2. Cultivate inner validation. A fundamental Stoic principle is self-sufficiency, not in the material sense, but in the emotional and psychological sense. The more we rely on external applause, the more power we give away. Seneca wrote, "The approval of others does not make us better, just as their disapproval does not make us worse." This is a difficult lesson in a world that conditions us to seek recognition. But if we tie our self-worth to the opinions of others, we become slaves to their judgments. Imagine working tirelessly on a project, pouring your heart and soul into it. If it succeeds and people praise you, you feel elated. But what if it fails? Or worse, what if no one acknowledges it? Does that diminish its value? Does it make your effort meaningless? A Stoic would say no. Because the measure of worth is not external validation, but the integrity of our efforts. Instead of asking, did others recognize my success? Ask, did I give my best? Instead of seeking likes, seek personal growth. Instead of craving applause, crave mastery. The irony is, when we no longer chase approval, we often earn greater respect. Strength is attractive, and there is no greater strength than quiet confidence. 3. Choose confidence wisely. While Stoicism emphasizes self-sufficiency, it does not advocate isolation. Connection is essential, but it must be intentional. Not everyone deserves access to our struggles, our dreams, or our emotions. Epictetus warned, "Be careful with whom you share your fire, for some may only come to steal its warmth." Some people listen to respond, not to understand. Some give advice not to help, but to feel superior. Others, whether out of jealousy or ignorance, may subtly undermine our aspirations. Think of your personal information as a rare gemstone. Would you hand it to just anyone? Or would you entrust it only to those who have proven themselves worthy? Before confiding in someone, ask, have they demonstrated loyalty and integrity? Do they have my best interests at heart? Are they capable of offering wisdom or just opinions? A strong support system is invaluable. But discernment is key. 4. Embrace the power of silence. In a culture that equates speaking up with power, silence is often misunderstood. But there is immense strength in knowing when to remain quiet. Consider the greatest leaders, thinkers, and strategists in history. They did not reveal their every thought or plan. They moved with intention, speaking only when necessary. Their silence was not passivity, it was control. The Stoics viewed speech as a tool to be wielded wisely. Words, once spoken, cannot be taken back. They can be misinterpreted, twisted, or weaponized against us. Before speaking, ask yourself, is this constructive? Is this the right person to share with? Often, the greatest impact comes not from what we say, but from what we choose not to say. 5. Live for yourself, not for an audience. In today's hyper-connected world, it's easy to fall into the trap of performing, curating an existence that is meant to impress rather than fulfill. But at the end of the day, who are we living for? Marcus Aurelius reminded himself, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. The purpose of life is not to be seen, but to be lived. Not every success needs to be announced. Not every struggle needs an audience. Not every thought needs to be shared. When we embrace discretion, we reclaim our power. We free ourselves from the need for external validation. We sharpen our focus, deepen our relationships, and move through life with quiet strength. Embracing discretion for inner peace. In a world that constantly urges us to express, reveal, and broadcast every aspect of our lives, silence can feel like an act of rebellion. We are conditioned to think that openness equates to authenticity, that sharing equates to connection. But what if true peace comes not from what we share, but from what we choose to withhold? The Stoics understood this well. They saw discretion not as secrecy, but as wisdom. Not as suppression, but as strength. To govern oneself is to govern one's words, and to govern one's words is to guard one's mind. In embracing discretion, we protect ourselves from external chaos and cultivate an inner tranquility that no amount of external validation can provide. We move through life with greater control, greater clarity, and a deeper sense of purpose. 1. The weight of words. Every word we speak carries weight. Some words build, others destroy. Some open doors, others create barriers. Yet in a world where speaking freely is celebrated, few consider the consequences of their words before unleashing them. How often have you shared something personal, only to regret it later? How often has a secret confided in the wrong person come back to haunt you? How often has speaking in the heat of emotion led to pain that could have been avoided? The Stoic philosopher Epictetus reminded us, if you wish to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid. What did he mean by this? That wisdom does not seek recognition. That true strength does not require validation. That sometimes, it is better to remain silent than to prove ourselves to those who do not matter. Before speaking, consider. Does this add value, or does it invite unnecessary scrutiny? Am I speaking out of impulse, or out of intention? Will this serve my peace, or will it create turmoil? Some things are better left unsaid. Not because we fear judgment, but because we value our peace. 2. Guarding our inner world. Not everyone deserves access to your thoughts. Not every struggle needs an audience. In today's world, we are encouraged to speak our truth, to put ourselves out there, to be an open book. But is vulnerability always strength? Or is there wisdom in being selective? Imagine your mind as a temple, your thoughts as sacred artifacts. Would you allow just anyone to walk through its halls, touching, criticizing, or rearranging things as they please? Or would you be discerning, allowing only those who understand its value to enter? Marcus Aurelius, in Meditations, wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." When we share indiscriminately, we give others influence over our emotions. When we guard our inner world, we reclaim that power. 3. The illusion of validation. One of the greatest traps of modern life is the belief that sharing our experiences will somehow validate them. That an achievement unannounced is an achievement unrecognized. That a struggle unseen is a struggle unacknowledged. But does external validation change the reality of our experience? If you achieve something great and no one praises you, does it make your success any less real? If you endure hardship in silence, does it make your resilience any less admirable? Seneca wrote, "The approval of others does not make us better, just as their disapproval does not make us worse." True validation is internal. The applause of the crowd fades, but self-respect endures. Instead of seeking external affirmation, ask yourself, am I proud of my own efforts? Am I living in alignment with my values? Do I need others to recognize my journey, or is the journey itself enough? When we free ourselves from the need to be seen, we step into a profound sense of inner peace. 4. Strength in silence. Silence is often mistaken for weakness, but in reality, it is one of the greatest forms of control. The wisest people in history have understood the power of saying less. They listened more than they spoke. They observed before they acted. They knew that not every thought needed to be voiced, not every emotion needed to be expressed. Why? Because silence protects. Because silence allows us to listen, not just to others, but to ourselves. Because silence gives us space to think, to grow, to refine our words before we release them. Consider the moments in your life when silence has served you better than words. The argument that never escalated because you chose not to engage. The personal struggle that you worked through privately, without the interference of others' opinions. The goal you quietly pursued and achieved, proving to yourself, rather than the world, that you were capable. The strongest individuals are not those who say the most, but those who know when to say nothing at all. 5. The path to inner peace. At its core, discretion is not about withholding information, it is about preserving energy. Every word spoken, every detail shared, every thought exposed is energy given away. The Stoics believed that our energy should be spent wisely, on self-improvement, on meaningful relationships, on things that truly matter. Instead of broadcasting your plans, work on them in silence. Instead of explaining yourself to those who do not understand, let your actions speak. Instead of sharing every detail of your life, savor the power of mystery. There is peace in knowing that not everyone needs to know your thoughts. There is freedom in living for yourself, not for an audience. Final thoughts, the Stoics' Guide to Discretion. To embrace discretion for inner peace. 1. Think before you speak. Words have power, use them wisely. 2. Guard your inner world. Not everyone deserves access to your thoughts and emotions. 3. Seek validation from within. External recognition is fleeting, self-respect is eternal. 4. Find strength in silence. Not everything needs to be said. Not every thought needs an audience. 5. Protect your energy. Share only what serves your growth and peace. The modern world may celebrate oversharing, but the Stoic path is one of wisdom, restraint, and quiet confidence. By practicing discretion, we do not isolate ourselves, we empower ourselves. By withholding what is unnecessary, we make space for what is essential. By choosing what to reveal and what to guard, we reclaim control over our own lives. And in that control, we find peace.